Well, Josh, huge congratulations. Making your debut in Tokyo at the Paralympics. That sounds good, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you. Um, yeah, something I never really thought about when I first was told I had a disability, or not something I envisioned when I first walked into the table tennis hall. So something I'm definitely very grateful for.
Well, it's come with hard work and dedication. And before we talk about all the preparations for the Paralympics, I just want to talk about your love of table tennis, because where did it all start?
It started in Rumney High School, now known as Easton High. Um, a Welsh coach called Simon Lloyd came into my year 7, like a PE lesson. It was like a taster session. We'd done, baseball, tennis, table tennis. There was loads of different sports, and a fair few of us in the class took a liking to table tennis. So they started a lunchtime club. Within about 2 weeks, Simon had come in again and said, "Oh, anyone who wants to play, you can come to St. Mellon's Table Tennis Club." So I went there, and then from there, I just started playing from 2 times a week to 3 times a week. And then within about a year and a half, I was luckily training with the Welsh squad, and I'd been selected to go to Luxembourg for my first competition. It was all rather fast.
Well, without sparing your blushes, it's quite a meteoric rise from that moment when Simon rocked up at school to where you are now. Can you quite believe it? It just goes to show the hard work and dedication you've put into it.
Yeah, it's even now it's rather surreal just to think that, I was just trying to even hit the ball, and now I'm competing at the pinnacle of the sport. It's incredible, really.
I guess it's difficult to put it into words, the emotions, because it has
Definitely.
been such a quick pathway and the transition. So I guess we've got to thank Simon quite a bit for this, for scouting you, finding you, and then you obviously had this inherent talent for it, but then you've just gone from strength to strength.
Yeah, definitely. Simon, from when I started to even now, he's been a huge help. He's almost been, from a coach from when I was younger to now, I'd probably regard him as a friend and someone's opinion I really value. And yeah, I'll always hold him in high regard because I think he's very largely responsible as to why I'm competing at the Paralympics.
Because you're still, and I don't mean this derogatory, but you're still so young, aren't you? How are you coping with the kind of pressures from going to just picking up the racket and trying out a sport to now being part of the PB Paralympic squad?
Well, I think I was quite lucky in terms of a lot of the players in the squad right now. They've sort of gone from, playing in a local club, and then they were sort of thrown straight into the deep end, representing Team GB and whatever tournament and whatnot. And I was quite lucky that I was able to experience playing for Wales and sort of being exposed to the pressure a lot younger. And I think it's definitely put me in good stead as to that in my first para tournament, it didn't really feel any different to a European tournament able bodied. So I think because I'd experienced it from the age of maybe 13, 14, that when I did compete at 17, I think almost 18, it didn't feel like I was out of my comfort zone. It was just, another tournament. I was quite comfortable, which I definitely think has helped and means that I can cope with the pressure a lot better than if I was to have not had that exposure at a young age.
And I guess with the GB Para Table Tennis squad, there's huge strength and depth, which is what you've alluded to. But talking about the Welsh players in particular, you've got the stalwarts, the really experienced players like Rob and Paul, and then you've got you and Tom making your debut. So have you kind of reached out to these guys for advice and just to get a vibe of what it's like competing on what is the pinnacle of any individual's kind of career? I mean, it doesn't get much bigger than the Paralympics, does it?
No, definitely. It definitely doesn't. I think the main consensus as to when you speak to them about trying to, make the most out of the experience is just to enjoy it and not get caught up in the moment and start, doing things that you wouldn't normally do at an everyday regular tournament, just to sort of make sure that you're best prepared for the games as you can be. And I think Rob's a very relaxed and easygoing guy, and I think in terms of when I'm competing, I think I emulate that quite similarly. And yeah, I think they've just told me enjoy it as best you can, and they think I'll sort of perform at my best. So I've definitely taken it on board.
Well, you're really relaxed. You've always come across as a kind of chilled, understated individual who doesn't look like from the outside you get phased. And is that the case? You just take one step at a time with any competition or whatever challenge lies ahead of you?
Yeah, I definitely say I like to take it one step at a time. Never sort of looking past a set or a point, let alone a game or, what round I'm going to get to. I'm not sure. I think there's been a few experiences when I was younger where I've lost and the pressure's really got to me, but I've been expected to win. I think it just made me realise that as big an occasion it is, it's just a table tennis match, and the person that's going to win is who's calmest and who can just get those extra 3-4% out in the game. And I think that if I can manage to be calm and play the best that I can, that the results will show for themselves.
I think it's fascinating talking to you because you are still so young, and any DSW pathway athletes, just your mental approach is really inspirational in the way that you handle that kind of pressure, which is brilliant. Because you've been in Sheffield now for quite some time, which is of course the headquarters, shall we say, for GB para table tennis, and it's been shall we say, a unique 18 months, a very strange 18 months. But how has the training gone, and the intensity, and indeed the preparations to get on that flight to Tokyo?
It's been fantastic. It's been as best as it possibly could, because for a long time it was sort of, we had to split up into two clusters to minimize the amount of people in the hall at the same time. And so we were training with the same 5 other people for about 6 months, and it was an absolute privilege to be able to practice. But it did start to get slightly, monotonous and things like that. But I think that as a group, we really managed it well and got the most out of every session that we turned up to and did our very best. And now, obviously, leading up to the games, restrictions have been slightly eased. And as long as practice partners take a laptop flow on the day they're going to come in and it's negative, they're more than welcome to come in, which is good. We're getting some really high quality practice partners in at the minute, and I think we're all really going to reap the rewards come games time.
And Josh, anyone watching this, try to put into words what table tennis has done for you.
It's given me a drive to succeed that I don't think I could ever really put into words. It's almost given me a reason to sort of wake up and sort of get cracking with my day and whatever it is that I'm doing. It's given me opportunities, like, for example, I didn't know I was disabled until I was 17. One of the GB coaches have walked up to me and said, "Oh, didn't say you walk funny, but I do." I said, "Oh, do you have a disability?" And I was like, "No, like, not to my knowledge." And within 6 months, I'd had an MRI scan and I was told I had cerebral palsy, and I was into the GB pathway squad and luckily managed to work my way up. And I would have never had that. I would have never realised I had a disability without table tennis. I'd never been given the opportunities that I've been given. So I'm absolutely grateful for the sport, and I wouldn't choose anything else to do.
And now, as we get ever closer to you heading to Japan, what are the general kind of feelings? Because this is what dreams are made of, right? But is there a sense of anticipation, excitement, butterflies in your stomach?
For me, it's always, the tournaments wise, it's always been sort of, I get a little bit nervous, a little bit, twitchy about a week before. we leave, and then as we're leaving, it seems like my nerves start to settle, and I don't know why. It might just be me subconsciously allowing myself to, enjoy what's around me. But yeah, there's definitely some butterflies. You can sort of tell, even with everyone else in the hall, you can tell that there's a bit of, anticipation and excitement going on, which is obviously lovely to be around. And yeah, it's definitely going to be a game to remember. And I think I'm probably lucky that I'm one of the few athletes at a first time going to the games for the first time. So I don't know what it was like pre-COVID. And I think that lack of exposure will work to my benefit when there is no crowd and, there's not as much noise in the arena as to what my other teammates are used to. So I think those kind of things will definitely work in my favour.
Well, we're super excited and super proud. It's quite phenomenal for such a small nation to have 4 players from Wales flying the flag in GB para table tennis, which is absolutely brilliant. We're so excited for you, Josh. We wish you all the best. Enjoy every moment, and hope you just set the world alight. So thank you for joining us today.
No problem at all. Thank you very much.